Hey guys, first impressions matter. And often your very first chance to make a first impression is by introducing yourself. People ask, what do you do and where are you from? And then you tell them. It seems simple enough, but my research suggests that many of us come up with very, very forgettable introductions. And that's a missed opportunity, and there is a better way. And it comes straight out of my research. This way will make you far more memorable, impressive, and ultimately successful compared to the way most people introduce themselves. Hi, I'm Nadav. I'm a professor at INSEAD, one of the top business schools in Europe and Asia, with a pretty good reputation in America as well. And most days, I'm either in the classroom or buried in research papers. But today, I want to share something from my own work that'll be practical and useful for you when it comes to introducing yourself and making the first impression. Let's start. You know that moment at a conference or a Zoom call or even grabbing coffee with somebody new when they ask, so what is it that you do? And I might go, I'm a professor at INSEAD. Now, what sounded really impressive in my head turned out to land very flat in conversation. I missed my chance if I just tell them my current accomplishment and my current profession. And I've been forgotten. So I've been running studies on exactly this moment for the last couple of years. And the first 20 to 30 seconds of an introduction really shape whether people are interested in learning more about you or immediately tune you out. So here's the short version of what we're going to talk about. People are way more interested and remember you better and actually want to keep talking to you when you share a little bit of your journey instead of just dropping your current title and your accomplishment like a mic drop. What are we trying to do when we introduce ourselves? There's two things. One, we want to make people like us. And two, we want to make people respect us and think that we're competent. In the experiments that we ran with over 1,000 people across different life situations and professional situations, when somebody just gives their job title or even their educational history or other accomplishments, listeners rate them as fine, polite, competent, professional, but also very forgettable and not particularly likable. But when the exact same person shares even a short version of how they got to where they are professionally, the weird detour, the struggle, the mistake, the shortcoming, the aha moment, everything changes. People say that person feels more real, more interesting, and most of all, more warm and more likable. Why? Because stories stick. Our brains are wired to pay attention to narratives. This is how people have passed knowledge around campfires for thousands of years before books and iPads were invented. If you just communicate your title and your accomplishments, even if they're very impressive, they're going to come across as dry. That's just data. That's a list. If you communicate your journey quickly, that's a mini story. And stories win every time. So let me show you with an example that I use all the time when I'm teaching or speaking. So imagine you're a data scientist named Alex, and you're in a tech meetup. You're meeting other techies out there. If Alex is like most people, this is what she'll say about herself.
Hey, I'm Alex. I'm a senior data scientist at Horizon Analytics. I got my degree at the University of Michigan. In my current job, I led predictive analytics for customer segmentation models, and I increased conversion rates by 25%.
Pretty impressive, right? But also a little bit dry and kind of awkward. Here's another version. Hey, I'm Alex. I'm now a data scientist, but actually I started out waiting tables in college because I needed the cash. I was obsessed with figuring out why some shifts were insanely busy and others were totally dead. I started tracking patterns on napkins, taught myself some basic coding to make it faster, and that turned into a massive side project and then a startup that crashed and burned, by the way, but eventually landed me where I am now, a senior data scientist at Horizon Analytics. Okay, so this is the same introduction, about the same time, talking about the same job that she has, totally different impact. The first version is forgettable, even though it's impressive. The second version, just as impressive, but completely memorable. People will remember this for a long time. When I show these two versions side by side in class or in workshops, I see polite nodding at the first one, but people lean in for the second one. And the data backs it up. We used real LinkedIn profile and actual introductions. What we find is the journey version generates much better results, especially when it came to liking the other person. Now, there are various reasons for this. People just like stories more than lists and accomplishments. The stories are more memorable, and stories sometimes flesh out some wrong turns that we made and makes us more human to other people. But what's clear is that this is a very small adjustment that can have a really big impact in your reputation and your ability to network. Shift your focus to your journey and your introductions will be far more effective. So here are 4 things that I tell my students and executives to focus on. First, Pick 2 or 3 real milestones in your career that you love talking about. It doesn't have to be dramatic. Just have a starting point. Just have a genuine pivot or a hard moment and talk about how it connects to what you do now. Just keep it honest. 2, articulate what you actually learned from these milestones. That's the key. Say things like, what failure at this taught me is this. What changing direction at this taught me is that. Seeing X up close made me realize that something. People want growth in stories. They want progression. That's what stories are. 3, end the story by linking it to the right now. Always end with a statement like this, which is why I'm into renewable energy today. Or, now I'm a data scientist, just working with actual data and not jotting down notes on napkins. Always end the storytelling with your current situation, and that would bring everything to a satisfying ending and would make people feel like what you're doing now is worthwhile. 4th, say it out loud a few times, preferably to a friend who will give you honest feedback. Or you can write it and say it to an AI that can also give you interesting feedback. If it feels stiff, loosen up. You don't have to memorize all the lines. This is not an acting job. This is not Shakespeare. Just telling a story instead of listing your accomplishment will make you stand out substantially compared to other people. And the final advice, the final bonus tip is keep it about the same length as you would when you give out your accomplishment. You have a short window. Even though when you tell your journey and your story, you're more interesting than just giving your accomplishment, you still don't want to exceed your window. Keep it to 20 to 30 seconds. That's plenty of time to share a journey, and I promise you, people will be so interested, they'll ask you a question about it, and they'll get more time to elaborate on what you're saying. So that's it. The next networking event, the next interview, or LinkedIn conversation, or even your next date, try the journey version once. The difference in how fast people open up to you is usually night and day, and you'll never go back to the previous version. If you want the longer academic version, I am linking the article below. But honestly, the takeaway is simple. Stop leading with your accomplishments, lead with your journey. Good luck.